Hello and welcome. This is Christina Hills with the Website Creation Workshop, and welcome to the essential pages of a successful website. And again, my name is Christina Hills. I am an international WordPress coach and teacher. My passion and gift is teaching technology and making it easy. My corporate background was as a visual effects artist. And this was before I had my daughter and before I became an online entrepreneur. I worked for George Lucas's company, Industrial Light and Magic. And I worked on such films as Star Wars, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, and Jurassic Park 2. But I'm here to talk to you about how to help you create a website that reflects your true nature as a soul-inspired person. Now, whether you want to build a spiritual website, which is my passion, or a business site, which I think most people here want to build a website or update their website for their own business. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through the essential pages of a successful website that attracts your perfect client. And so I'm just going to jump right into it. This is called a wireframe, and I'm going to talk about this wireframe, and that is a terminology that web designers use. If you hire an expensive, fancy web designer, they'll make some kind of wireframe for you. But it's a visual way to understand a website. So your website's made of various pages. Home page, programs and services page, and underneath it you might actually have coaching or courses, an about page, a contact page, an FAQ page, testimonials page, and a blog. So these are the basic pages, and I'm going to walk you through these. So first off, your home page. This is my home page at websitecreationworkshop.com. And then here's my home page. Then I have a programs page, an about page, a contact page, and my blog. And I have lots of other pages as well, but these are the basics. And I wanted to show you one of my students, Natasha, and this is her home page. And she just went through the website creation workshop. And so here you see her home page, her programs page, her about page, her contact page, and her blog. And she built this all by herself, and she's truly thrilled. So what we're going to do is first tour these pages, right? I call them interior pages. These pages inside your site. And then we're going to discuss the home page last, right? And I'll tell you why in a bit, why we discuss the home page last. All right, so let's just start with our services. Many of us are here working online, offering services. So your services page, spell out the services you offer people. It could be phone coaching or consulting. Maybe you do Zoom calls, in-person coaching, etc. And you can call it services, you can call it coaching, you can call it work with me, sort of how you work with your clients. Providing services for people is a great way to transition from a corporate job to becoming an online entrepreneur. And that's how I got started in my business. I did setup services for people before I started my group coaching and training programs. So here is Natasha's site, and here she has her programs and services. She puts it together, and when you hover over it, there's a drop down of her different services. And here is her services listed. Now, you don't have to be offering services. I know many writers, they don't have services. You might have a products or programs page, and if you're an author, this might be called your books page. So your products or programs page, where you spell out the products or programs you offer people. So I think of a product as something you're either shipping in the mail, or maybe it's a home study course, or it's a PDF. Your products or programs could be group coaching, events, digital products, online courses, physical products, ebooks. There's many different ways you can think about it. So here's some examples: coaching, courses, trainings, products, programs, consulting, books, speaking. So your services or your products or programs, some people are going to have both, and some people might just have one or the other. So here's my programs page. When you go to my website, at the top it says programs, and these are the different programs I run because I love doing group coaching and I love doing online trainings. Here's a couple screenshots from two of my students. This gal has a reflexology university, online university, so that's her programs page. And then here's another one of my students who's an author, and so she has a books page. And then more of my students, this gal does online classes, and this other gal, she does it for body movement, and then this gal teaches prenatal classes. You can also have in-person classes. Now, I'm not saying everybody here has to be teaching online classes. I'm just showing you some examples of possibilities that you can do on your website. And I love this gal. I mean, I wish I were 7 years old and I could go to her Wild Heart Nature School in-person camp. Then another one of my students, and as I've been showing you these screenshots, you'll notice how different every website looks. And that's why I've been teaching how to build websites for the past 16 years, because every student goes through the program, creates their own unique expression of who they are. And then this one from Donna, she has a coaching package, her coaching package and programs, and she calls it Work With Me. So you can label it whatever resonates with you. And as I said, if you don't have any products or programs yet, you can skip creating this until you're ready, or if you even want to. I know many authors don't have products or programs pages, and some consultants never create programs because they do one-on-one phone or in-person consulting. All right, so let's jump over to an About Us page. And I love talking about your About Us page. And some people refer to it as your bio page. This is where you brag about yourself, right? You want to put in your unique talent and ability and why you can help them. This is where you show who you are, whom you serve, and why people would want to work with you. Show off your experience, your training, your credentials, and this is one of the first places people go when they visit a website. And I know it's something that I always do. I look at a person's About Us page. On your About Us page, make sure that you have your full name, your picture, and how people can contact you, or a link to your contact page. So you want to, somewhere on the page, make sure you have your full name, and in this instance I have it twice, and I also have my picture. So you want to make sure you have a picture. Now if you are a company or a group, or maybe you're an animal shelter, and so you would have everybody who's part of your group or company, so you could do that as well. Now, typically, your About Us page is written in the third person, as if someone else is talking about you. So mine says Christina Hills is a teacher, trainer, and mentor when it comes to building an online business. She created the website, and I go on. It's in the third person. You can put your purpose in business, who your ideal clients are, and why, and any credentials or accomplishments you have. As I mentioned, this is also referred to as your bio page. So I like to have it in the third person as if someone is introducing me. And here's Natasha's. I'm going to be showing Natasha's site throughout this webinar as an example. But then I have other students, and she also has hers in the third person, and she does leadership development. And so this is a screenshot of her about page. Now, some people do put it in the first person, and really you get to decide. This is the great thing about building and creating your website yourself. You get to be the master of your own domain and decide how to do it. So she says she helps people transform their homes. And so she says, "Hi, I'm Randy." Now, she has her name up here, so that's fine. I would prefer she said, "Hi, I'm Randy DeStefano," but it's up to you. So as I'm talking and as you're thinking, you want to think about your own website and what's going to resonate with you. But here's the thing about your About Us page. Don't get stuck on making it perfect. You can always update it later. And this is why I'm such a proponent of people knowing how to manage your website yourself, because you don't have to get stuck on, oh, I have to have it all done, so I give it to the web designer. You can change it later in the day or tomorrow or whatever. It's very empowering to be able to make these changes whenever you want. All right, so here's the thing. You want to have your page URL match what the page is about. So page URL, and hopefully you know what the word page URL means. It means your link. Okay, that's the page URL. So mine says about-Christina-Hills. Sometimes it just says about or about us. And this is referred to as a slug, right? So that's a terminology. What is the slug? This is the slug. So it will be referred to as the page URL, the link, or possibly the slug. And I don't know if have you ever heard of that term slug before? You can just write that in the chat. So that is the slug. Because I'll get to a page on somebody's site and then I'll look at the URL and I'm like, well, that doesn't match what it's about. So that's kind of a techie term, the slug. So maybe you don't hear it that often. Most people say link or URL. And okay, let me keep going. So let's talk about our Contact Us page, right? The Contact Us page. This page should have you or your business name on it, and it should list the methods you want people contacting you. Phone, email, contact form. Some people have a contact form. I have some screenshots of that. Physical address, if it's appropriate. Explain on your contact page what will happen when they contact you. For example, we'll respond by email within 24 to 48 hours, or we respond to all phone calls on the next business day. So it's how you want to respond to people, right, on your contact page. So people want to know that you're a real person before doing business with you, and having a physical address really helps bring that credibility. But here's the thing, do not list your home address. Let me say that one more time. Do not list your home address on your website. You don't want people randomly showing up at your home. So I typically recommend people getting mailboxes, etc., or UPS store or a PO box for your contact page, not to list your home address. Or if you have a business address, that's fine too. All right, so Natasha, when I went to take a screenshot of her contact page, I love how she has a schedule a call as the first thing you see. Now, here is her contact form, right, that you can fill out if you want to send her a message. But what she really wants to do, and I just think this is brilliant, is she wants people to get on the phone with her and schedule a call so that she can get to know the person and see if you're a fit for each other. Here is Denise's, and I have other screenshots of her site later on. And you go to her contact link, and you can see here is her form. And you can either enter a question or request a 30-minute consultation. So either one, and then you can fill out the send request. And here's how you can set up an appointment with her. Okay, so back to my Contact Us page, and actually I really should have a screenshot, and maybe during the Q&A, if someone reminds me, I can show how I have all the different ways to contact me on my Contact Us form. And I happen to love maps. I don't know if you like maps. I love maps, so I included a map of San Diego here on my Contact Us page. All right, so that was the Contact Us page. Moving along, let's talk about your privacy policy page. A privacy policy page is now built into WordPress, and they make it easy. So today's training is not specifically about WordPress, and if you don't know what WordPress is, it is a platform to build websites on. But it's all built in, and anybody who has a website should have a privacy policy page. Your privacy policy explains how any personal data collected on your website will be handled. You might be thinking you're not collecting any personal data from anybody, but it's quite likely that your website technology is automatically doing it. So this is one of those annoying rules. When you have a website, you have to have a privacy policy. And you want to put it at the bottom of your site, right? So here's one of my students, Lindy, and down at the bottom, she's got a little menu in her copyright, and she has a privacy policy. So don't put the privacy policy at the top, put it at the bottom. The only instance where you might have it at the top is if you're some kind of financial advisor and you have to have it at the top. But most people have the privacy policy at the bottom. And again, it is built in to WordPress. So it's something every website needs to have. All right, so those were the essential pages of a successful website. Now what I want to talk about are other pages you might want to have on your site. And remember, I will be taking questions at the end of the presentation. Testimonials. Testimonials page. I love testimonials. I love giving testimonials. I love getting testimonials. Here's the screenshot. And I called mine stories because that's kind of a more interesting name than testimonials, but some people call it testimonials. I think I also called it stories because it was a shorter word. This is where you showcase the success stories or case studies of the people who have worked with you. So find recent clients and ask them to give you a testimonial. And after someone goes through the website creation workshop, we always ask them for a testimonial. Testimonials are good to collect right after you've worked with a person, when they're still feeling the warm glow of success with you. So if the soonest you can collect or ask for them, the better. But you can also go back to your old clients and ask for testimonials later. And it's also a great way to get feedback to improve your coaching services, your consulting services, your online courses. Sometimes people will give you really good feedback when they give you a testimonial. So here's some different ideas to name your testimonials page. You might call them case studies, you might call them success stories, or testimonials. And one of my students, he called it People I've Helped. So that was the name of his testimonials page. You can also call it Rave Reviews. You can add testimonials to your homepage as well. So on my homepage, when you scroll down, there are some blurbs and screenshots, testimonial screenshots. Or you can have them on your sidebar. So here's an example of a testimonial on my sidebar. All right, so now I'm moving on to, and I hope I'm not going too fast. If I'm going too fast, let me know in the chat box if I'm going too fast. But I will be taking questions. I love questions. I love interactive calls. I love helping people. All right, frequently asked questions. Frequently asked questions, or FAQ, is where you list the commonly asked questions and answers to make it easy for your website visitors to find the information they're looking for. Also, having an FAQ page on your website can reduce the amount of time you spend responding to client inquiries. So, FAQ won't apply to everybody. Like, for example, if you're an author, you might not have an FAQ page because you're showing off your books. But if you work with clients, or if you're a speaker and somebody wants to book you, having an FAQ, or if you teach online courses, having an FAQ page is great to have. So it could either be about how people work with you, or you might define the terms of your industry. So if you are a healer, you might have explain the terms of healing, like what are essential oils. So that's what's here in my examples. How do you work with your clients? What is business coaching? Maybe how is business coaching different from life coaching? What are the health benefits of using essential oils, etc.? So you get to decide, do you want your FAQ page to be how people work with you, or to explain terms of your industry, or maybe a little bit of both? So with an FAQ page, it lets people find the answers to their simple question anytime they want. Like if I'm going to contact a company, I'll look at their FAQ first because maybe I've got the answer there. And here's one of my students, Mango Johnstone, and she does astrology consulting. And so she answers questions about how her astrology readings work. And on her FAQ page, if you can see my cursor, there are these little tabs, and when you click, they open up. This is called an accordion, by the way. So these tabs open up. She's totally non-techie, and she built this great site herself. Now, this gal who's a coach, and I know we have some coaches here listening to me. We have authors, we have healers, we have consultants, we have a whole range of people listening. And as I'm showing these examples, just think about how it would apply to you. So on her Work With Me coaching page, her FAQ is kind of built in, right? So this is her Work With Me, and then she's got questions about coaching. And I know it's a little faint, but when you click on each of these, it shows the answers. So on my FAQ page, I answer the questions about my beginner website creation workshop course, which is going to be starting very soon. I also have an intermediate website building course called the Website Marketing Workshop. So my FAQ answers the questions of the difference between the two. All right, so now I was going through all these different pages on your site. Let's talk about your blog. Okay, so under the blog, you'd have different articles, right? So your blog, some people refer to it as their newsletter, or some people call it their tips, and I'll show you some other examples. A blog is a wonderful way to market yourself by writing content-rich articles. When people come to your website, they want to know who you are, what you think, and how you can help them. Your home and about pages will get them off to a good start, but you want to give them more. On your blog, you can write about common issues people have in your market, create engaging article titles for your blog posts, and people will find them when they search in Google. So the great thing about having a blog and posting articles is that Google will notice, hey, this website has activity, and it is then more inclined to show you in the search results. You can also share them and have your friends and clients share them on social media. So you don't have to be on social media or love social media to make your articles available for other people to share on social media, which in turn can bring you more potential clients to your website. So here is my blog, websitecreationworkshop.com/blog. And my blog is what's referred to as a magazine style. So I have all these different, and I should have a zoomed out version of this, but I have all these different articles people can click on. And then here's one single article, right? 5 tips for planning your blog posts. And down here, this is the URL, also known as a slug. So websitecreationworkshop.com/blog/marketing, because this blog post is in the category called marketing, and then planning your blog posts. So notice the URL link matches what it's about. All right, so with blog posts, you can create evergreen articles or you can create current event articles, and I'm going to explain what the difference is between evergreen and current events. And you might already know, but I'm going to go through this explanation anyways. An evergreen article is an article that is relevant last week, last month, next year. It's not tied to the news. So like the Super Bowl, that would be a news-related article that then becomes sort of outdated. But here's an article on what is a WordPress plugin, right? Because I teach WordPress, I've got an article to explain what a plugin, because not everybody who's getting started building a website knows what a plugin is. Then I also have current event articles. So this is a current event article will become outdated because it's about an event in time. Like I mentioned, the Super Bowl or the Academy Awards is an event in time. And the Super Bowl and the Academy Awards happen every year, but when it's the middle of the summer, people aren't thinking about that. Anyway, so when WordPress comes up with new versions, I always do an article about what's new in the latest version. And for those of you who don't know, this is sort of fun. I'm a jazz music aficionado. They name all their versions after a jazz musician. All right, so your blog posts can be anything. It can be about anything you want. It is your content marketing. So content marketing is a term you may have heard, and if you've heard the term content marketing, you can say yes in the chat if you want to. Content marketing is where you are marketing your business but giving them content, right? So I put out a blog post a week and it is pure content. It's not selling them on anything. So sometimes you're selling someone, like trying to convince them to work with you, or you're trying to convince them to buy your program. And sometimes you're doing almost like a public service announcement. So if you're a healer, maybe somebody doesn't know the benefits of essential oils. So you might write an article on the benefits of essential oils. Or if you're a coach, you might write an article on the 10 things to ask before you hire a business coach. So that is called content marketing. So here's Natasha, and her blog is on her healing journey and other people's healing and different ways to heal. This gal, really interesting, one of my other students, her name is Nancy. She posts about what she teaches in her course. So she has a course on the Akashic Records, and here are all her articles about the Akashic Records. Benefits from learning the Akashic, giving thanks, why learn the Akashic Records equals God's memory. And then when you click, right, like if I was going to click on our blog post, then I get into this article, right? So this article is all about, why learn the Akashic Records. And then she can share this, or she can email this out if she's got an email list to teach people about the Akashic Records. Now this student, moving on to another example, she decided to use her blog for her client case studies. So instead, she's a copywriter. So instead of writing articles about copywriting, she's just sharing what she did with her clients. And this is a great thing to have and a great way to use the blog. So she doesn't even have the word blog up here. She just has read success stories. And notice how she doesn't have the date on there. So it becomes evergreen, meaning she doesn't have to feel the pressure to being publishing all the time. She just, as she gets a new success story, she writes an article about it. All right, moving along, and I see we have lots of good questions coming in, and I will be getting to questions. Moving along to terms and disclaimers. So terms and conditions or earnings disclaimers, every industry has something different. You can add these links to any kind of legal stuff you need in the footer of your website. And you can do this later. Check with your industry to see what kind of disclaimers you need. So that is that's what I have to say about terms, conditions, and earnings disclaimers. All right, so your website wireframe, I've gone through this a little bit quickly, but I want to kind of keep the pace moving. Now we can talk about your home page, right? So your home page, I like to talk about the home page last. Now, before I talk about the home page last, I just want to get this out of the way because I know we're going to get questions about landing pages. So I'm going to just take a little moment now before I dive into the home page to talk about the difference between a home page and a landing page. So your home page is like websitecreationworkshop.com, right? I also have christinasrecipes.com, right? That is my home page to my site, and I have a menu at the top. A landing page is a special page that you build that has one purpose. And the purpose was, this was for the essential pages of a successful website. I have this PDF download, and you click and you enter your name and email. So this was a list building page to give somebody something in exchange for their email. On this landing page, you typically don't have a menu like you see on the left. Sorry, my cursor's not bigger. So when you come to a home page, a person might click around and do a lot of different things. On a landing page, there's really just one thing to do. So that's the difference between a landing page and a home page. And if you have more questions about that, I can answer that during the Q&A. All right, so back to your home page. So on your home page, it should be about them, not you. When people visit your home page, it should be about their problem and why they're coming to your site. Most people make the mistake of their home page showing off what a great expert they are, but you don't want to do that on your home page. When someone lands on your site, they want to know how you can solve their problem, right? So your home page is about them. Your About Us page is about you. So I'm just going to say that one more time. Your home page should all be about them and their thoughts and desires and how you can help them. But your About Us page then brags a little bit more about you. Now, it is easier to work on your home page last because as you build your site, your mission will become clearer. As you create your website, as you put together your products or your programs or your services or your About Us or your FAQ, etc., all this will help you and then to then have the right words and what to say on your home page. So work on your home page last. All right, so on your home page, you want to have a clear call to action, right? So call to action is what action do you want the visitor to take? So you want to have a goal in mind when you create your home page. This is why it's best to do it last. What do you want someone to do when they come to your site? Do you want them to call you, sign up for a free session, have a discovery session, join your email list? For some people, it might be buying something from you. You know, like Amazon. Amazon, they want you to buy something, right? Because they're a big online store. So, and we're not creating Amazon sites. But, maybe you want them to register for something. Maybe you do a weekly free group coaching call. It's going to be different for each person. So on my home page, I've got this click here to learn more about the website creation workshop. On Natasha's home page, her call to action is to schedule a discovery session. So, you come to her site and it says, proven solutions for busy overachievers to heal stress, induce chronic pain, and the damage it does to the body. So this is already, she's telling you how she can solve your problem, and then you can click to schedule a discovery call. This is Denise, who also took my class, and this is what you see when you get to her home page. An evolutionary method of self-love and healing. Rediscover the beauty within the masterpiece of your own life and self. And then when you scroll down, your true self is waiting. Get in touch and explore your possibilities. So this is scrolled down from this page. And yes, she did this herself in the website creation workshop. This one, Deborah, her call to action is to schedule an appointment. She's got that up at the top. She also has free productivity tips on her site. And listen, don't be a perfectionist. When you build your website yourself, you can always update it later. So this is one of the reasons why my mission has been to help people know how to build their websites themselves, even if you're not techie, because that frees you up to not worry about being perfect. All right, so these were the essential pages: home, programs, about, contact, privacy policy, and then these are some of the pages you can add later: your blog, your testimonials, your FAQ, and terms. Now there's some other things you can add to your website. This might not apply to everybody, but it will give you some ideas. You can have your site in multiple languages. My program is an international program, and so I've got people from all over the world taking the website creation workshop. Hers is in Spanish, and I should have written this down. I think this is in Czech. Her website's in Czech. And this gal, she has a little button, and it actually switches back and forth between English and Spanish. You can also have book reviews. So many authors like to do this. So Tanya Ann, she's got a tab called Book Reviews. And then Andrea Susan, here was a screenshot of one of her book reviews, so reviewing other people's books. Again, won't apply to everybody. Some people want to have a podcast, so you can have a podcast on your website. So this gal does pilot flight training, and she has a podcast. And then this gal is an intuitive coach, and she has a podcast. So podcasting and WordPress go great together. Now you can also add videos to your website. And I like to add YouTube videos. You can also add Vimeo videos. The way you do that is you embed a YouTube video on your site. Here's a screenshot of a video I found from somebody else that I embedded on my site. And I'll be teaching how to embed a YouTube video on your website in my upcoming live webinar next week. And so you're going to want to come to that, where I'm going to go deeper into WordPress and then one of the demos I'm going to give is how to embed a YouTube video. So if you could put this link in the chat, websitecreationclass.com/webinars. There are 3 different webinars I'm teaching, so you can pick that. And this is a free training, so you can pick that for next week. And I'll talk more about web designers, and I'll talk more about WordPress, and I'll talk about theme design and how to make changes. And so it's a very interactive. It's a lot of fun. So just go to websitecreationclass.com/webinars. And I am ready to take questions. So I'm going to